Happy Monday, family. Welcome to another episode of the 365 Dad podcast. My name is Odini. I'm your host, father of two, entrepreneur, and overall awesome, amazing, cool guy. All right. And that's just, it is what it is. Honestly, as always, I'm just so grateful and thankful for everyone who tunes into the show and just grateful to give perspectives and knowledge to fathers and moms alike and just ways to express yourself emotionally and to feel valued and just to parent more mindfully. And I'm just glad that I can be a catalyst for those things in the fatherhood and parenting journey. All right, so today's episode 7. Today we are going to talk about 6 practices that you can put into your life to help you feel valued in your role as dad. As I talk about often on this podcast, one of the biggest things that dads suffer with in this country, especially, is feeling valued. Over 60% of dads do not feel like they are respected as a parent. They don't feel appreciated and they don't feel like their efforts go noticed. Over 60%. So obviously, I have been a part of that group for sure, and sometimes still am, right? This is the ebbs and flows of life. But today I'm going to talk about 6 things that I hold near and dear to me, that I practice, some of them almost daily, to help me when it comes to my role and it comes to me feeling value in my role as dad. So before we get into today's topic, a quick rundown of the past week. If you all were tuned in last week, for those of you who heard me say I was doing a 72-hour fast where the only thing I would be uh, digesting was water. So I got to tell y'all how that went. So for some context, I have done it before. I didn't, I've attempted it before. We'll say that. And you can Google a 72-hour water fast. So not meaning don't drink water for 72 hours. I told somebody I was doing a 72-hour water fast, and they were like, "No, don't do that. That's terrible." So obviously, I don't mean don't drink water for 3 days. I mean, that's all you are drinking for 3 days. Is that's the only thing you're putting into your body is H2O. So how did it go? I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Before I say that, just this is something that is proven is very healthy and normal for you to do. It's very safe. Obviously, if you feel like this is something you want to do, and maybe you have some pre-existing conditions, obviously, you want to check in with a doctor to be safe. But once or twice a year, this has so many health benefits. Uh, Not only just obviously the obvious if you are worried about losing weight, but even more so for me, it really clears brain fog and it cleans out the toxins. It puts my body in ketosis, and it also just kills off dead cells that need to be transitioned. So, we can keep on pushing and keep our bodies in a good rhythm. So go check it out. Go Google, do your research on it. Very good thing. Anyway, my experience, and I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to be totally honest here. So I started it on last Saturday. No, I started it last Friday and at 12:30. So finished my last meal at 12:30. And if you remember me saying I had my kids with me that weekend, and I was saying how like it's hard for me to like stick to the lifestyle I want to stick to, especially when it comes to diet when I have my children with me. So I was very psyched up about like proving that wrong and like, performing. So, so it turns out my aunt was visiting from Maryland, and that Saturday we decided to do a celebration for her birthday. So I show up to the residence where the celebration was, and I'm like, yeah, uh, I'm 24 hours into my fast. At this time, I was actually like 32, 33 hours into my fast, and I was feeling good. And then, man, my other aunt came through the door with like a ton of food. I'm talking pizza, I'm talking Popeyes, I'm talking Panera, I'm talking homemade cookies, homemade uh, banana pudding, uh, just gosh, so many things happening. And I tried. I'm gonna be real with you. I totally, totally dropped the ball. I ate so much food. To be honest with you, I tried the aroma, everybody eating. It was just not. It was not ideal for me. So I did do it again that Monday. I'm like, I gotta get this. I gotta get this done. So Monday around 2 o'clock, I had my last meal, and I'm gonna be honest, I could not make it to 72. I made it to about 50 hours. I had a really nice meal on Monday, played a basketball game later on, and then didn't eat until Wednesday until around 4 o'clock. And am I a little disappointed? Slightly, but in my phase of life that I'm in right now, it's all about giving yourself grace and being compassionate to yourself, because even a 48-hour fast does wonders for your body. So I was proud that I was able to last 50 hours. When I was on that that day, like that 40th, like that 40th to 50th hour, it was rough for me. I'm going to be real with you. Like I had no energy. Like I was like, I can't do this. I got to eat. So, and that's best if you listen to your body. You know what I mean? And the most important thing is what you eat when you come back from fasting. A lot of people, like on Saturday when I was at that party, terrible choices as far as what to eat, because your body is not used to that, and then you're just going to spike your blood sugar if you just go crazy like I did with like junk food. But on Wednesday, I did come back a little better. Had some bone broth, had some fruits, some veggies, some protein. So, anywho, that's how my attempt at a 3-day fast went. So, and a couple songs for you all. I would say right now you should go listen to Drake Jungle, because that's just an amazing song. That it's one of my favorite Drake songs, but I recently came across somebody like rapping along to it on TikTok, and I'm like, this, I love this song. So Drake Jungle, and then you know what? I would say J. Cole Middle Child. Yeah, put those two songs in your rotation this week. I think you'll have a good day. Okay, so let's jump straight to the topic. 6 ways to feel valued in your role as dad. All right, so let's go straight into the number one thing. Actually, I have 6 things I'm gonna speak about, but I don't even know what I'm gonna choose first. I'm not gonna rank these as like list of importance, But I would say the first thing I want to say is accountability. Right now, this is going to be, it's going to sound cliche, but when I get into it, you'll see it's actually much deeper than just holding yourself accountable. This is a little deeper because it has a spiritual undertone to it and scientific. All right. So it is proven scientifically that we create vibrations, our thoughts, our brain, our subconscious and conscious minds creates vibrations. And those vibrations, those thoughts put us on a certain level of frequency. And the more and more we say certain things, the higher or lower the frequency will be. But the most important part is the more and more we tell ourselves something and the more and more we actually believe it internally, it's just going to be mirrored on our outer world. This is important because if you tell yourself daily that no one appreciates you in your role, that you don't, maybe you're going through a rough time, maybe financially, emotionally, and maybe you actually truly don't feel as if you're bringing any value in your role as dad. You have an energy field around you that it's like 6 feet around your body. Some people, you might call it your aura, right? You've heard words like that used. But this energy field basically is a combination of how you feel about yourself, the things you say to yourself, and the actions you take day to day. And the energy field basically says, hey, this person feels like this about themselves. So we are going to invite people, experiences, situations into this person's life to validate that. It's like writing a script for you. But why I say hold yourself accountable is because it starts with you, right? You are telling yourself that for whatever reason, you don't feel valued in your life. You don't feel valued in your role as dad. You're finding every single thing to make that inner thought true. And by you doing that, you're just writing a script for people to not value you in your role as dad. You're writing a script to attract people into your world that will say or do things to prove to you that they don't respect you as a dad, as a parent. So that's the first thing I would say. Actually, I'm not going to rank them, but if I were to rank them, I would say this for sure is the most important. Out of all six, I'm going to say this is by far the most important because, like everything in life, not just parenting, anything in life, it always is going to start with you. It will always start inside of your heart. Then it's going to go up to your subconscious mind, which then will give you your reality in what you're perceiving on a day to day. No matter what it is, parenting, work, relationships, friendships, that is so crucial. Remember, it is always going to start with you. So, in my own life as a parent, when I was feeling very undervalued, and sometimes once in a while I still do, um, I really, really hit a nice little groove when it comes to managing these emotions once I realized the role that I played in people feeling and people coming off as if they don't appreciate what I bring to the table. Whether that be personal life or society. Because as we talk about often, a lot of the times we parent based off of societal expectations, unfortunately. So you're going to attract things in on your social media. You're going to attract conversations that will tend to remind you that, oh, I am not valuable, I'm not respected, I'm not doing this well enough. And that's only happening to you because somewhere in your inner world, that's the story you're telling yourself about yourself. So that's number one, accountability. And on a more deeper sense, step number one, you can call it uh, a reflection, right? Right. It's just a reflection of what's happening outside. It's just a reflection of what's going on inside. Okay. That's number one. Number two, I would say journaling. Obviously, we all know this is going to be one of the six, but the reason why journaling is important when it comes to feeling valued in your role is you get to ask yourself questions like, well, why don't I feel valued? Feel valued, right? Why don't I feel valued? Sometimes we just say things because we had like a conversation. Someone said something that we perceived it as bad, and we just make up a story and we run with it, and that's it. You don't respect me because you said this. You don't respect me because you didn't say this. You did that. You didn't do that. And when we sit down and answer that question, write that out. Write your thoughts out. Why don't I feel valued? A, it's emotional clarity, as always, right? What you write down will reveal a few things to you. A, it could say, man, that I feel very validated for feeling like I'm not being valued in my role based off of the things that flow on the paper from my mind. This stream of consciousness shows me, yes, I feel validated for feeling like that. That can happen. Or this happens to me sometimes. I'll journal about it and then I'm like, I was tripping. Like I overreacted. Maybe I was being a little dramatic. Oh, maybe I wasn't being accountable in that moment because this thing happened, but maybe it wouldn't have happened if I would have made better choices. Right? Um, Once again, that's emotional clarity. A third thing, which is I think so important, is when you go deep in journaling, sometimes you peel back layers that you weren't even expecting to peel back. And I spoke about this before. You're journaling and you're like, okay, this is why I don't feel valued. This is what happened. And then you go deeper and deeper and you're like, yo, well, why do I feel this way? Because of this. Well, why do I feel that way? And it always is going to be like a third or fourth layer. And for me, like I've mentioned here before, that third or fourth layer for me went all the way back to me as a child and how I felt like I didn't get things that I needed, especially from my father as a child, emotionally, bonding, connected wise. And some of that trickles down and makes its way up to how I perceive people perceiving me as a dad. It's deep. It gets really deep. So I would say number two is journaling. Because you just get some emotional clarity. You may find out that maybe, you know, it is, it's not what you thought it was. And then, like I said before, you peel back the layers to find the real reason. It's like when people ask you, like, what's your why? Right? Sometimes I talk to people and I'm like, well, what's your why? Right? That's a pretty common thing in the self development space. And one thing I realized, the first thing that somebody says is never the real why. It's just like I'm going to go on a record and say 99% of the time it's never the real why, right? You got to get down to the actual third or fourth reason, then you'd be like, oh, that's the real why, right? Example I always give is, and I love being transparent and vulnerable here, so I'm fine with this. The example I always give is, I remember years ago I was in this relationship and um, I was on a beach, and my girlfriend at the time was with me, and some other people, and there were these two guys throwing a football around on the beach. And these dudes were in immaculate shape. Okay? Like six packed up. Like you could tell they hit the gym 5 days a week. They probably had a really good diet. These dudes were in immaculate shape. almost every female that we were with, including my girlfriend at the time, could not stop staring at these guys. And they had their shirts off, and I could just see they were drooling. Even though they were trying not to make it obvious, they were drooling. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, heck no. All right. I had a little beer belly. Like, I'm like, no way. Like, this does not feel good. Like, I need to get in the gym. I need to do XYZ. When I first went to the gym and during my transformation, if you would have asked me, well, why are you shifting like this? What made you want to get in the gym? What would I have said first? Oh yeah, I just want to get in shape. "Oh, okay. Well, why do you want to get in shape? I just want to be able to look in the mirror and feel good about myself. "Oh, okay. Uh, why do you want to do that? And for me, it would have trickled down to the third or fourth reason is I have a fear of my partner, either leaving or saying something or doing something that makes me feel insecure about how I look. And because of that, I want to make sure I show up looking the best way I can possibly look. Now, whether we can argue that that's a valid reason, because clearly what you want to be healthy just for your own health, right? You don't want to put um, your health in the hands of someone else, right? Oh, this in the perception of someone else. So I understand folks who will say that, but the reality is that was what it was for me. But if you were to ask me at that time, I would have told you my first why would have been, oh, I just want to get in shape, and that's probably what it should be. I just want to be healthy. But if you ask me why is that repeatedly, it would have came to the real why. You know what I'm saying? So that's what journaling can do for you in a way when it comes to how you feel as a dad. Okay, so that's number two. Number three, and I typically don't do this, but I wrote the six down. I already knew the six, but I'm like, let me just write these down just in case, because I want the podcast to kind of flow. I typically don't write notes. All right, this is still coming from source in my opinion. So, but the next thing I would say is your tribe. And that's important. When you look around at your friends, family, coworkers, I am pretty sure you are cool, close with other dads. And this is huge because the chances that they feel how you feel about many of the things you're struggling with in fatherhood, the chances are so high, right? That they probably relate and know exactly what you're going through. So find your tribe of fellow dads and tell them how you feel. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable with other men. Express how you feel about not feeling respected in your role. And you will be surprised how many people actually feel or felt the same way. Um, Part of healing and part of transmuting and better managing and even, dare I say, overcoming certain things is actually knowing that you're not alone. That's a very huge role, a very underrated role, especially when it comes to men dealing with emotions, especially as a man. Finding your community is so underrated. Before somebody's going to tell you to find your community, find your tribe, express yourself, be vulnerable with others, they're going to tell you to do like so many other things, which are all helpful. Every modality of healing, I feel, can be helpful. It just depends on what works for you, what resonates for you. But, you know, picking up the phone, going out to eat, hanging out with people, like minded people who, may struggle with the same thing that you're going through, that is just so underrated in my opinion. But I just think it's very, very valuable. I'll be honest, I would say it's something that I don't do as much as I would like. You know, it's a pillar in the 365 Dad Journal. It is a pillar, community building. So I have put it into practice for sure. But I'll be honest and I'll say there are moments when I'm going through something and I'm like, I could just call my homeboy. He's a dad. He's going through, I'm sure he's went through this. And sometimes I get on the phone and my intention is to do that. And my ego, my pride, the fear of looking weak sometimes does help, does assist, unfortunately, in me not being 100% forthcoming in what I'm going through. And this is important, man. And I am proud of myself for a lot of moments where I have stepped up to the plate of vulnerability. And I've told my friends, like, especially the ones who are dads, like, yo, this is what I'm going through. Like, I don't, like, this does not feel good for me. And it really feels good when you're able to express that to someone else that has driven in the same Uber as you. I just love analogies like that. Like sometimes people say, "Oh, they're on the same boat," but why not just say driven in the same Uber as you? That's a new one. I think that's pretty cool. All right. So the fourth thing we're going to go with is meditation. If you know me personally, you know I meditate daily. I teach people how to meditate. It's just something that I love to do. You know, when I was going through a very, very intense custody battle some years ago, I found the practice of meditation, and it 1,000% helped me tremendously. The reason why meditation is helpful when it comes to feeling valued is, like we said before, part of the reason why you feel undervalued in your role is because you are telling yourself that internally. You yourself don't feel worthy. You yourself don't feel important. You yourself don't feel like you matter as much. And you tell yourself that and you believe that. But these all come from thoughts. And with meditation, the more you practice, the more you'll realize that why am I identifying with these thoughts? Like these thoughts, we don't know where they come from. We don't know where they go. And that transition of the thought coming and going, that is literally like zero point 0.5 seconds. Another one will come, go, it's gone. Another one, it's gone. And we never really know where it, like, think about it. Have you ever sat and told yourself, like, close your eyes and just think about this? Where does a thought come from? You can't pinpoint it. You're going to say something like, oh, your brain. But, like, just think about it. It literally is just a thing that is floating in consciousness. We can't control it. We can't hold it down. And then it just, like, leaves. Like, it just, like, goes to the. I picture the way I picture thoughts. It's like they come in my mind from the right side and they eventually make their way out somewhere through the left side of my head, right? But like we truly don't know where they come from. We don't know where they go. So why do we feel the need to identify with them so much, right? And that's what meditation helps with. It helps you to stop identifying with the thought of you not being a good dad, you not being valuable in your role. You know, that's what meditation can help you with. Just not being so attached to the thoughts, not embodying the thoughts, right? So, a book that I'm reading and that, you know, is a great body of work. It's called The Collected Works of, I'm probably going to say this wrong, Choki Nima Rinpoche. And this is volume 2, Indisputable Truth, Present Fresh Awakefulness. Now, wakefulness. So this morning, I'm in the backyard and I'm reading, and it just so happens the page I'm reading speaks to this. So I'm going to read this section for you all. It says, all right, here we go. Here is an example illustrating this. The average person's thinking is like writing on paper, solidified and coarse. For a beginner who tries to sustain awareness, thoughts do occur. We're not free from thoughts. The key point is not to follow the thoughts like a normal person, but to let the thoughts dissolve, like writing on water. When writing on water, the writing disappears while it is being written. As we train an ordinary mind, so ordinary mind is our mind that's not contaminated with the wants, the needs, the thoughts, the sensory experiences, and so forth, right? As we train an ordinary mind in self existing awareness that is fresh and naked, we still have thoughts, but the thoughts become less strong. Gradually, they lose their strength, their grip on us, all the way up through the bhumis or bodhisattva levels. Those are Buddhist terms basically for having a completely non contaminated mind. We are not free from thoughts. So, what he's saying here is even in your highest form of the Buddha mind, right? Just Christ consciousness mind, right? Even in that level, you are still going to have thoughts. And that's what I was saying before. Like, you're still going to have them. Like, we just cannot get rid of thoughts. But this practice of sitting still and just watching them will help you not hog on to them. When I teach meditation, I usually say, picture your thoughts as like cars or taxi cabs driving by. You're looking at them drive by, but they're going to places that you don't want to go to. So you just don't jump in the car because, wherever that taxi's going, that's not where I'm trying to go. So that's how you want to look at thoughts, especially the ones that make you feel bad, right? The ones that tell a negative story about yourself. Look at them as taxi cabs in front of you, but you're just looking at them drive by and you're not going to open the door and get in the car. All right. A practitioner will have thoughts, but at the same time, their impact is reduced. They do not create very much benefit or harm. I mean, that's probably the most important thing, one of the most important things I've ever said on this podcast. So that is 100% how meditation can help you in this world of not feeling valued in your role as a father. All right. So the next thing is express emotions. And this is important, like say something, like whether it be if your child is at a level where they can hear what you're saying and take it in and say it to your child. If you're in a relationship, say it to your spouse. If you're co-parenting and you don't feel valued in that situation, say it to the co-parent, right? But we got to express our emotions, which is something men don't tend to do very well. And, and obviously this is generations and generations of work that we're trying to day by day, fix and change and course correct. But the reality is not being afraid to express your emotions about how you feel, speak up about how you feel is so beneficial to this. Like I said before, talking to a coworker or a friend who's a dad, that's great because you found your tribe. But guess what? That's not the tribe that, you're going to wake up to daily. That's not the tribe that is going to jump into the fire with you daily. Your family members will. And if that's the tribe that, we are truly looking at as a reflection of us and how we feel day to day, it's important to be vulnerable enough to express your emotions to your family as a dad if you don't feel valued. I can't stress how important that is. Okay. So the next one is affirmations. Affirm, affirm, affirm. The thing about affirmations are like in the self-help, self-development, spiritual world, affirmations are kind of getting a bad rap because it just sounds like a cool thing. Oh, I am worthy, I am loved, and people just say it without even feeling it. They don't even really feel that way. And you know, the reason why affirmations are truly essential is you are trying to rewrite the narrative that you created about yourself. And that's just the reality. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to rewrite the narrative that you yourself created about yourself. Uh, some people have been creating this narrative for 20, 25 years, right? Some people have been creating the narrative for 5 years, 2 years. No matter how long it has been, it's been a while for some people. So the only way to course correct that is to consistently tell yourself that that's not the case, right? But the thing with affirmations are you got to feel it, And so when I say my affirmations, for example, one of the things I say all the time is I look in the mirror. Sometimes I say it when I wake up and I'm still in bed. Sometimes I say it when I'm meditating and, I'm just like looking into yonder. But one of the biggest affirmations that I say is, my children love me. They appreciate me. I am valuable. My children love me. They appreciate me. And I am valuable. I mean, we're not going to talk about how my Jamaican accent sometimes like keeps me from like saying the words fully. I am valuable. So that's why affirmations are important. And I would take that affirmation and use it when you're feeling like this. My children love me. Uh, they appreciate me, and I am valuable. Literally just say that. You don't need 50 affirmations. I've created resources that have a ton of affirmations, but you don't need to say 50 of them. Pick one or two that really resonates with you. That's the thing. Like, affirmations only work if your brain subconsciously feels like you yourself believe that to be true. Because, you know, the more and more you delve into neuroscience work, you'll realize and you'll read and you'll learn and you'll experience that your brain really doesn't know the difference between what's actually true, like physically, and what you're actually telling it mentally, subconsciously, right? It doesn't know the difference. So, like, if you are someone who really hates to work out and you're trying to fix that up, you're trying to change that in your life. If you tell your brain over and over again, I'm someone who loves working out, I'm someone who appreciates being fit, and you keep saying that and you keep saying that, your brain is now going to believe that to be true and is now going to help you take action to actually be that person. But a part of that happening is you feeling like an abundance amount of resonance with that. Like really feel it. Like not nothing to do with parenting, but one of my biggest affirmations that I say almost every morning is, I am grateful for all that I am and all that I have. And when I say it, I feel it. Like, I am so grateful for all that I am. And because I know what I am. I know I am an extension of source, an extension of what some people call God, an extension of the highest form of energy, the highest form of frequency. Like, I know I am an extension of that. And I know I have 50%, maybe even 100% of the power of that energy that creates. So why would I not be grateful for that? Right? So when I wake up and I say that, man, I am grateful for all that I am. I mean that, right? And because I mean that, I'll have days where my that energy field I spoke about earlier, I'll have days where I'm attracting people and things into my life that and people leaving comments on my work that says that, man, you're amazing. Man, you helped me so much. Man, I needed this, Odini, right? And that's because I've already programmed to myself that, yeah, everything I say is valuable. Yeah, that's facts. Everything that I say is valuable. Everything that I say, I'm just so grateful of what I can share. I'm grateful of what I can share. I'm grateful for the knowledge I've gained. I'm grateful for my experiences in life. Though that hits a little different than I'm grateful for all that I am and all that I have. I'm grateful for all that I am and all that I have. Right? That hits different. So that's the last one is affirmation. Say your affirmations, but really feel it. Trick your subconscious mind into really like, man, he really feels this way. And you'll see the difference of your experiences and the people you attract into your life and how your fatherhood will 100% just feel more refreshing for you, right? So we're at 41 minutes. Well, the intro I haven't tacked on the intro yet, so this is going to go on to be like a 45-minute episode probably. So I am going to sign off. Just remember, journal, be accountable with how you talk to yourself about yourself, find your tribe, sit still and meditate. Don't be afraid to express emotions to your family and affirm, affirm. Rewrite the stories that you say to yourself about yourself. And with that, I'm gone. My nephew just came back from church, so he's about to go crazy. He might burst into my room. He's hilarious. He knocks on the door and he's like, boom, boom, boom. Can I come in? And I don't even say anything. And he just like burst through the door anyway. So for that not to happen, I'm about to sign off and I'm wishing you all light. I'm wishing you all light. I'm wishing you all the highest of frequencies and vibration this week. I'm wishing you so much prosperity and abundance in your emotions when it comes to your role as a dad, and you are appreciated. All right, I'm out.